Heroes, villains, mutants, and metahumans. Whether you are in a league of good guys or a rogues gallery, we welcome you. Yes, we welcome you to another edition of the Nerdy Old Men podcast, the best geek nerd podcast in history. This is your co-host, Chad. You may not think I am Batman, but have you ever seen me and Batman in the same room? With us as usual, here is Redneck Wes.
Avengers Assemble. Hey, thanks for stopping by and listening for a while, guys. I already got Mike cracked up. We're actually on location today. This is the first time Chad and I've actually got to record together.
Yes, I've seen your ugly mug for a
long time.
Decades, but
yes.
Here we are again.
But we're here on location today, and we've got a guest with us, Mike House from Mike's House of Comics and Collectibles. And Mike, he's been a friend of mine for going on 20 years now, and
yes, sir.
It's been a while. But he's got a comic shop, and he let us come in today, and we're going to talk comics and collectibles and just all things nerdy like that. But Mike, thanks for joining us today.
No, it's cool. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. I like it. I like it. I love to talk.
Yes, sir.
And that is that. And Wes is bless his heart. All I have to say is, dang it!
Just
dang
like,
it.
Like in the South, you say bless your heart, and it's actually
Yeah.
I love Wes, love my shop, love what I do, and I do it because I like this more than other things.
Yes. Hey, so let's start initially with the store itself, location, and how they can get in contact with you.
Okay, well, I am on Facebook, so you can find Mike's House of Comics and Collectibles. That is on Google too. Google also, not Google. There's not Google too, is there?
We'll roll with it.
We'll say Google also.
We're trademarking Google too, by the way.
Either way, I am in beautiful downtown Claxton, and the reason being is, first thing, the rent is better.
Yes.
And but as far as logistically located, if you're somewhere here around the Knoxville area, you can be here depending on driving habits. You can be here from Maryville in probably 25, 30 minutes, jump on Pellissippi, and bam, you're here. You can be here from Oak Ridge in 10 minutes. Clinton in 5. La Follette, what do you say, Wes? 25
minutes.
Depending on driving habits.
Sometimes it's less.
There you go. I was about to say, I think Leadfoot over here can get around a little bit. Let's say if you were in Powell is 10 minutes, man. Claxton is Powell, just in the next county. You just top the ridge, there's a county line, same thing, except the reputation, I guess. But either way, if you're in Fountain City, probably 15, 20 minutes. Halls, 20, 25 minutes. West Knoxville, 20 minutes.
You're right in the middle of everything.
I am so conveniently located because of East Tennessee's beautiful interstate system.
And
that is that, man. And once again, driving habits and knowing which way to go. So there you go.
Yeah,
and
this is a great place. We've been here a couple
it is
times.
616 Edgemore Road. Sorry.
Yes, 616 Edgemore Road. The internet says it's a Powell address.
Because it's Powell Claxton,
right.
Same zip code.
37849 would be the zip code, so be sure to look that up. But he can be reached on Facebook, Mike's House of Comics and Collectibles.
And if you're on Facebook on Thursday nights, Mike's got a live show that he does. I know I have bought many books from him and John.
Which is super fun.
If you get a chance, you need to check it out because it's very lighthearted. And the people that are on there have kind of become friends, even though I know there's people
all over the country
and out of country.
Absolutely. We have our friend Rajesh. Way around, halfway around the world. And that's a beautiful thing because when he watches, he's actually 8 a.m. as opposed to 8 p.m., so he's really at work. And the only reason, and sometimes he's like, gotta work. But the only reason we even ended up with him and the other gentleman down there is because by necessity, the gentleman that helps me, that I refer to as Spielberg on the show, he has a wonderful wife, a wonderful child, and sometimes life is more important than comic books, and we changed the show to it.
What?
See, I'm making faces. But we changed it to a Saturday morning, threw everybody off to, 9 to 11, something like that?
9 to 11, I believe
it
was, because I caught the tail end of it. I was like, what are you doing on?
You had to work. But because of that, we picked up a different, group of people on that there. But like I said, the live show, we sell stuff about 2 hours. We sell them for $1, $2, $3, $5, $10. We do auctions.
The auctions, by the way, can get very interesting at times.
And the way that you guys do that, though, is wonderful. You've got a great system there.
You like it?
And, yeah, it works out really well because I bid on some of those. I didn't win those. I watched your bid go up there, Wes, last night and to grab some stuff. What was it that you grabbed?
I got the Cloak and Dagger,
yeah,
1 through 10.
Yes.
So.
And I thought that was pretty neat. And I was sitting there going, how in the world are they going to keep up with this? But you just do. And it works out great. And
Spielberg's responsible.
Yes,
for that.
and he does wonderful. And we typically normally in the rapid fire question session we normally ask DC and Marvel. I'm not even going to bother with that today because the man's sitting here in a Marvel T-shirt.
Well, that's because it was at Walmart and they didn't have one.
That was on the markdown.
There you go.
Markdown rack.
Markdown rack. It was like I needed a T-shirt and okay.
But that's one of those things. That's a running joke from the live show because Mike. Hey, somebody said something about a shirt Mike had on, and so half of the group were giving him grief about it, and the other half were defending it. And he goes, "Guys, it was on the markdown rack. I don't care."
Well, let's set the stage here real quick before we get into Mike and his history in comics. Is we're sitting here at a table about where they normally do the live show, and we're surrounded by short boxes and long boxes. There's a foosball table right there. There's some old like first edition Dungeons and Dragons books over there, which has me salivating because I remember the Fiend Folio and all those over there.
I believe at one time we had all of those.
Oh, absolutely, in the library. Got tons of really awesome action figures, and I am an action figure guy, you know that. There are even Halloween masks over on the wall. I see some freaking Battlestar Galactica models, which I may leave here with. And they're, conveniently enough, a inflatable Pepsi can over top of Wes's head.
With Yoda.
So, with Yoda on it, so that's awesome. So, Mike, comics, how did it happen?
Well, just kind of liked them, I guess. Truly the first book I ever bought, I bought it over in Carnes at Gordon's drugstore, and they're still open. It's a little bigger now, but I'm 4, and where we lived at, we'd walk up. We lived the last house on the end of the road. Me and my older sister, we'd walk up there, we'd stop at the gas station, get an Orange Crush in a glass bottle, and a big old sweet tart about the size of a hockey puck that would last a week. They don't make it anymore. Those things are awesome. That makes my mouth water right now. But and then go across the street, and the first book I ever bought was a Turok, Son of Stone, in probably 1960. We'll say 68, 69, something to that effect right there. And what kid doesn't like dinosaurs? So I started reading at about 4 years old, and I'm reading these words that are, Brontosaurus, Brachiosaurus. Trust me, at that point right there, when you get to school and they're like, okay, that says cat. Brontosaurus? The Brontosaurus goes meow. Come on! But anyway, from there I just collected. I had some older cousins that liked them. I had some hand-me-down comics. My sisters actually liked them. My mom encouraged anything that you liked. If it made you read, that's great. But I mean, she was a very encouraging person anyway. It doesn't matter what you did. She'd go for it. If you like it, do it. Just don't get in trouble doing it. But either way, went through all that. Blah, blah, blah. Skip however many years of retail, which is how I met Wes there. I met him with Bilo. I was department manager then. And before that, I was store manager with Food Line years ago. And then it just rolled through this and that. And I ended up being getting paid to talk with Walmart. Actually, I worked on the corporate side as a training facilitator. Imagine that, me being paid to talk. Because I won't shut up. I know. That was the hardest thing I had to do was shut up and go, please tell me more about that. And you learn, see, that's all you have to do to be a trainer. Please tell me more about that. That's interesting. How do you think? And you just look
Ask those open-ended questions.
Oh, God, they're awesome. They're great. Anyway, it's like, what comic book would you like to buy today? I didn't know I was buying a comic book today, but anyway, though, I did shows all through the 90s, and this was before the days of the internet. I was located here in East Tennessee then.
So, now, you were doing that at home, from
Yep.
home. That was your
Absolutely.
quote-unquote first shop.
Exactly. Yeah, and I've got a bag on the board over there with the address
I
on
actually
it.
have one that has the old
Just says Mike's
house.
No, it says Comics House, and then
Comics House,
and then it tells you where I live and what my phone number is. Come on by and steal all my stuff. I might not be here. Hey, I'm going. But there wasn't the internet then, so you didn't know when anybody wasn't home because you were smart enough not to tell everybody you were leaving. You tell your neighbor, feed the dog, please. If he looks hungry, please feed him. But I would go within a 1 hour drive. Much younger then. If it was 6 to 6.5 hours one way. I'd go, and I did probably 1 or 2 shows a weekend. There was some great people that did conventions, and there was a company called Jubilee Convention, Great Eastern Conventions, and they were just known for one day 6-hour hit and run shows. But they did them all over the East Coast. And you could do like one weekend like Cincinnati and Columbus, or it'd be like Lexington and Atlanta, or Columbia, South Carolina and Charleston, or Atlanta and Nashville. That was a pretty good little hookup there. But lots of them in Ohio, anywhere in Ohio. But like I said, I went as far as Cleveland. I actually did Wizard World in Chicago, go down as far south as maybe Orlando, all the way to the Atlantic coast, far west is Memphis. Just get you a protractor, compass, man, compass, big old.
Oh, you're talking science.
And that's geometry. Get your little compass there, that big old weapon they used to give you in school.
Sir, yes.
Let me tell you, take down a bunch of daggum algebra teachers with a compass. Well, first thing, it's like a cross. You hold it up and they're like, that's not numbers, that's angles. But anyway, so I just decided to open up a comic book shop, and the first one was Eagle Comics, and it was called that because I had a gal I worked for that did industrial supplies, and I sold stuff for them, but she wanted to open up a little secondary company, and it was going to be called Eagle Material Handling, which is long since gone the way of the dodo bird, but that was that. I ran her thing for her. Did my shop, did my thing, 600 square feet, teeny tiny. This is $4,000, 600 feet shop, and it had a back room. 600 feet with a back, yes, it was. I filled it up in about 6 months, and then moved over here and did Eagle Comics 5 or 6 years, and kind of just got bored with it, like I tend to do with things sometimes, and slid back into the retail business, and then kind of got tired of that a couple years ago, and just decided, you know what, I got stuff, I know how to do it, and let's go with it. And then the show just happened.
Yeah, no, that's great. This place is set up like a comic shop.
It's got that comic.
It has the feel. It even has the smell. It's just,
no,
that's a good thing.
I think he's trying to tell you something, Mike.
No, it's a good thing. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's the old book smell. That
one 1952 book that you don't put in a bag in the board, and it's got, God, it smells like Grandma's attic, or Grandma's basement, or heaven forbid, Grandma's bathroom. No, it's Grandpa's bathroom. Oh.
The comic shop that I used to go to as a kid, not quite sure if it still exists or not, but it was up the road from here.
Yeah, that one is no longer.
He retired.
But back in the day when we were in school, my mother would bring me to Oak Ridge, which is near here, to get allergy shots, and she would always stop by a little shop there in downtown Clinton, and she would go in there, and I'd go across the street, and that's where I bought a lot of my comics as we got older, and I would do that about once a week. And my cousin Jacob, who is an artist, and by the way, he's a farmer, and he works for Mayfield as well, but he's a very good artist. I'd take orders from him and pick up comics from him. You couldn't have anything mailed to him. We didn't have anything back home.
We didn't have any.
But even before that, you talk about going to a store. I used to go to Shelby's Grocery with my grandfather, and I would go over there and I'd get a book.
Spin a rack.
Yeah, spin around the rack, man. Spin the rack.
The white stores on the other end of town.
Yes.
We went to the white stores, and they had the spinner rack, and I still have the books that I got off that. But it was a big treat to get a comic book.
Absolutely.
But we just didn't have anything like this growing up in our hometown.
No, and that's the way things have expanded in East Tennessee anyway. It's good, and it's good for people like us that like this sort of thing, because we have local cons and local shows, and you got local shops like this that you can come in and shop at and things like that, and that's wonderful. Now, the live stream show, which I think is super fun. When did you start doing that?
We've been doing it well over a year, quite honestly. Me and Spielberg have talked to each other about it, and without one of us sitting down and doing some real research, we're not sure exactly how long. Well, over a year, but it's just one of those things. I happened to see somebody else doing one, and I looked at it. I'm like, I watched for a couple minutes, well, he's got comic books, but damn, this sucks. Yeah, for lack of a better term, I was like, man, it's slow paced. And it's, okay, here's this book. These two books are going to sit here, and I'm going to stare at them. I might sneeze until somebody buys these two books, and I'll put 2 more books up. And I'm like, well, I ain't the way to do this. How do you do it? More volume. How do you have the crazy prices? More volume.
Yes.
And it's just kind of evolved, and
Well, I think that's what's so much fun about the Claim It Now. If you're doing $1 books or $2 books, whatever it is, and you're putting, this is Spider-Man, you'll give a number. This is X-Men, you'll give a number. This is Batman, you'll give a number. And it's funny because everybody has different lag times.
Yeah. I've gotten caught on the lag time before.
It gets interesting because people will be like, "Hey, did I get this? Did I get this?" And Spielberg, bless his heart, he's trying to keep all that going and keep Mike in line.
But it's so good. It works out so well.
But and we need to get a disclaimer like to scroll across the bottom of the screen. It says, everything will be settled when
lag time is not our fault.
when it loads to my page.
I try my best not to say that because it's the truth. I've got a couple regular customers. I ain't gonna throw nobody's names out because once again they might not want their names out. But anyway, known this one gentleman longer than I've known you and his whole family. And that is that. And he will, and the whole family collects. Mm-hmm. They all like them. I mean, they all like them. And but they have different taste.
Yes.
But it's like he will watch it with his grandson, and his grandson's an adult, more or less, young adult, and they can be side by side sitting here, and they're 5 or 6 seconds apart. They can be side by side at Walmart, because one of them's got an Android, one's got an iPhone. Side by side there, the other one's in front. Okay, they go through the drive-thru at McDonald's. Oh, now we're neck and neck. Yes. And here they're watching my show going through the drive-thru at McDonald's. Not to mention probably going down the road.
Well, it just shows you how popular it is that people are willing to risk their lives to watch your show.
Their lives, jeez.
Not your fault. It's a
lot of responsibility there, Mike.
Lawyers cost money.
Again, we go back to the disclaimer that we'll put on there. But Mike is not held responsible for anybody wrecking while they watch his show.
That's it. that or any damn just cause by any backing boards. Do not put the comic book bag over your head.
It is not a toy.
If the comic book bag is small enough, no. If your head is small enough to fit in a comic book bag,
you need parental guidance.
Yes.
you don't need to be on the internet to begin with.
Proof of ID. How old are you? What, 7? Well, you got the credit card number? Wait, 18. But that's wrong, and that's purely a joke.
That's what's fun about the live show, though, because there's so many different age groups. I know there's some younger ones, there's older ones, there's really older ones, not mentioning any names. But I mean, you've got.
I don't know about that.
But you've got. A lot of ladies are watching the show. Mm-hmm. I mean, collecting books, which is really cool.
Oh, the genres that they pick up. I mean, we got the G.I. Joes.
Like the little Lulus and all the four Collectables.
And the 4 Collectables and the Westerns and the Gold Keys.
Any of the like G.I. Combat and any of the war books, I know who's going to get those. I don't even try to bid on because it'll be a cool cover, but I'm like, he's done got it because his connection is so fast.
And that's because
he sits in the parking lot, I believe.
No, he's not in the parking lot. But he's got it figured out. He's got like a laptop and an iPad and a phone, and he's got it spread out. Okay, and yes, the football game is on this Thursday night. And
okay, now, Mike, don't give away too many secrets here now. Some of us had to figure this out on our own.
I'm not even going to give your secrets away. You got to figure it out. But that's what it is. They're set up, And when people come in for the first time, sometimes they struggle with it a little bit. And then, like I said, the people I ship to, they've kind of got it figured out. I'm not sending out invoices at 4 a.m. on Friday morning. You'll be lucky if you get your invoice by 1 o'clock on Monday, because I got to let because it's just easier on me. It makes sense work-wise.
And that's something we didn't mention about the live show is Mike ships, and he ships
everywhere
really well. I mean, I've talked to people that have gotten books from him, and they're packaged well. They're not getting there damaged. I mean, and that's something, if you're going to pay to buy a book and then have it shipped to you, you don't want to get it all beat up and destroyed. And that's something I know a lot of people are very grateful that you do such a good job packing.
This is how hard it is. I pack it like I was going to send it to myself.
See that?
I know that's a lot of words, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. I mean, all these folks that sell the stuff, they just get the idea we're gonna do it. But you see horse or different little groups on Facebook, different comic book ones. I can't even think of the name of one to throw out. But that's one of the main rants on there is I have bought something and Dad, wasn't this, wasn't that, wasn't that. It wasn't even about, just complaints on the shipping part of it. And I lose a little bit of money on shipping, and I spend a little bit of money on shipping materials, but I also did spend probably about 15 years running a dadgum shipping and receiving warehouse. Know how to back stuff. It's not that hard,
It shows compassion for
the book. I care about the book.
Yes.
The poor little book.
You want somebody, you care about it, and you're selling to someone else who cares about it, so you get it. You get it. It's not like buying from
a giant box retailer that remains nameless.
That just crams the stuff like me and Terrence, it was last year, we're toy guys, and he gripes and fusses because if he buys something from another one of these big companies, they cram it. Of course, he doesn't open his. I open mine, but they cram it in an envelope, a padded envelope, and ship it. Man, that sucker gets smashed all to pieces.
The card gets beat all to pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
But Mike cares enough to properly make sure this stuff gets sent to people, because what they see on the screen is what they're going to receive. And how he describes it in the live shows is great too, because I don't know comic grading.
Shiny.
But yes, shiny.
That sells a lot of books.
let me tell you what.
That's a proper term in the comic
Let
world.
me tell you what shiny is. Shiny is, we're going to go any Southern YouTube. Y'all know who Bill Dance is, right?
Yes.
Okay, when Bill Dance is sitting there, and nobody can see what I'm doing, but I'm like casting a fishing rod. Bill Dance is out there, and he throws that lure out there, and he's dragging it back in, twitching it, whatever he's doing. What I do sometimes is the absolute same thing. I have something that's shiny, just like a fishing lure. And you all are just awesome. And that's all there is to it, because I'll it's just fun.
I can't tell you how many times the price has gone up because this is a pretty book. I may get this book.
That's all I have to do is say I want it, and somebody buys it. And it's the truth. And
Marketing.
So
it's all
it's
advertising.
marketing. Hell, I wanted the book.
I believe it. Look around this place, right?
Excuse me.
He's got good stuff. It's all
wanted
good
the book.
stuff.
I wanted the book. And it's my own fault for not being diligent enough to flip through all Spielberg's stuff first. But I have to have Spielberg money every week. Before the show starts, I have to glance at
I have seen this firsthand. This is a true statement.
I have to just start, here's some money for you, here's some money for you. Okay, let's sell some books. He's got money. He knows it. And it goes back to the shiny thing. He brought me something last night.
Wolverine number 100, I believe it was. Huh?
No. That was I saw that. No, this is what Spielberg, which nobody can see. This is by Roman Dirge, and it's a slave labor graphics book. And this will be trade paperback, but it's called Something at the Window is Scratching. And these books are flipping awesome. And it's like written for looks like probably for somebody that would be maybe 4th, 5th grade level. But it's also really kind of twisted and fun. But he does things like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and that Slave Labor Graphics just does this stuff that's really on the edge. That is so much fun. But he knows I like this.
Right.
And so he snatched this up somewhere. I don't know. Somebody probably gave it to him. They probably had it in their pocket. They're walking down the street, saw him walking out somewhere with a box of comic books and said,
Hey, you want this?
Hey, I've got one. I don't need it. And then he's like, well, Mike's going to buy that. And he brings it right to me.
Although every once in a while, John gets something, he goes, I'm going to hang on to that one.
I could have choked him over one look, but either way.
I was here for that one, too.
I talked him into keeping it, and I talked him into keeping it. It was like an EC comic, which would be from the 50s, but it was an EC war comic, and it was very, 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 very nice. And it was also a number 1. Mm-hmm. And he had it priced very reasonably.
Probably too reasonably.
Yes. Anyway, and I looked at it, and I talked about it. I said, dude, at some point in time, I said, you need to start kind of sticking some of these books back, because he'll get, I said, keep something. I said, good books, I'll make you more of these. And I spent probably 4 days talking about it. And then you were here, Nathan was here, and it was right there. Nathan was going through that big stack of war books.
Because we all went, ooh, look at this.
Exactly. And I had my hand in my pocket on my wallet, pulling it out to buy the book from him, and the words came out of Spielberg's mouth. Yeah, I think I've decided to keep this one.
And at that point, I could literally see Mike's heart sink.
Dangling it over your head.
Oh, he wasn't trying to.
No, it wasn't anything like that. It was just, you could see Mike had his hand, like he said, he had his hand in his pocket, grabbing his wallet, and Spielberg was like, I think I'll keep this one. And
one day that book will be mine.
I will have it. His evil laugh comes out of Mike. I will have that. you got a lot of other neat stuff in this store, man. And we know you like comics, obviously, right? What's your favorite thing in here? You know, I mean, I know just about everything's for sale, but what
Customers.
There's a businessman right there.
Well,
right?
that's the honest answer. That's your clear answer. I don't know. See, I don't know.
I know that's a beat.
What's your favorite kid?
Wait. Stop.
And here we go. Mike goes scurrying off through the store. He's on a mission to find something here.
Oh, I believe he's after something that's going to make noise.
Oh, is that what it is? He's
yeah,
after something that's going to make noise. Let's see what it is.
Because we had talked about this earlier, and he said, "You need this," and then he starts pushing buttons on things, and I'm like, "Oh Lord!" So,
well, as he's over there, we'll continue to describe a little bit more of the store that you got to come by and see, man. There's boxes everywhere. It's so cool.
Just run off.
Here he
that's
comes.
the thing about having your own podcast. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. Oh.
See, this is not the favorite, but this one's fun. Because I just sell a lot of silly little things. But anyway, this is like a little, I don't know, what's it, 14 inches plush. It's actually talking, dancing. It's a Beetlejuice, though. But
It's showtime. Let's turn on the juice
And
and,
it
see what
walks.
shakes loose. I'm
we
the
go.
ghost with the most, babe.
He's stomping all over the table and walking around. It is, in fact, Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
And we've lost Mike for the rest of the show.
it's mine.
Yes, he's over here cuddling
But I mean,
it right
it-
now.
Yeah, I got more than one, so come get one.
There you go. At Mike's House of Comics and Collectibles, you too can get yours.
$20.
$20.
And that is standard retail price.
That is
That
awesome.
is not a secondary market price. That is
like it.
standard retail.
He blew my mind right there. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, it's neat because he's got comics, you've got action figures, you've got board games, you've got collectibles, you've even got some vinyl.
I got Legos.
He's got Legos.
Yeah,
too.
I got Legos. I got die-cast. We have posters. We have custom-made posters, which you've watched those sell on the show. Mm-hmm. And my print guy, he is down in Cleveland, Tennessee, but I can get anything made, pretty much any size. And
these are vinyl. These are vinyl signs with metal grommets in them.
They look great. There's a rack of them over there. He's got some hanging up on the wall.
That was a great idea to put them on that rack, Mike.
Who thought of that, Wes? I believe Wes thought about that. I did improve it just a smidge.
He did. I will give Mike credit.
And I
for
did
that.
have to execute it.
Well, I took a couple of pictures of the outside of the store to post on Twitter and our Instagram and our Facebook and
Thank
things. And some of those vinyl posters are on your windows.
Oh, the big ones that are on
big
the
ones are
windows
on
are like $65.
Yes.
And two of them,
they are awesome.
well, there's two of them that have been out there. If you look at the picture, there's the Alex Ross Joker Harley, and then the Deadpool one. Those two have been hanging out there for 2 years, and that's what they still look like.
And they've not faded. I mean,
Yeah, and the
they
sun
are
comes
awesome.
up directly on that window right there. I mean, directly on that window.
So you were,
Quality.
down heart, you are a comic guy.
Sure.
You're a comic guy. So, what artist? Give me your favorite artist and why you like them so much.
Oh, crud. You see, I like so many different things, so it's going to be very hard to say. Let's just say if I'm going to pick like a Jim Lee or a mutant kind of artist, I'm going to go with either Mark Sylvester or Jim Lee.
Okay.
If you're going to say, well, McFarlane's good. That's all there's to it. I'm going to count him.
Yeah, McFarlane is
but
nice.
let's just say if I was going to pick like an image kind of artist, the ones that started, the young guys that started in the early '90s or late '80s, when they were in their teens and their 20s, as far as it were drawing that really bright, popping image type book. Jay Lee. Jay Lee's amazing. Will Spertasio. I don't even know what happened to him. I don't know if he's still drawing stuff or not. Classic stuff would be Jerry Conway. That's like 1974 Spider-Man's guy that created the Punisher.
Right.
And he is still alive and kicking. And he doesn't like the comic industry either. I saw he wanted something similar to this on YouTube, and I was like, damn, that man's not happy with comic books, So what it comes down to, I bet he doesn't have enough rights to the Punisher when he created it, and he's watching people make millions,
money off it,
and
yeah.
he's getting $300 a month or something, which I hate that for him. But that's why they make good lawyers,
Good contracts.
They make good lawyers that can fix old contracts. But either way, but that's not on me, that's on him.
Oh, those are some good. That's some good stuff.
Yeah. Well, and okay, here we go. Favorite. Now, Sam Keith. I love Sam Keith.
I was fixing to say, when are we going to get to Sam Keith?
I
On the show, there's always, if you ain't got a Sam Keith, you need a Sam
That's
Keith.
it. I love Sam. Just his style is good, and he's one of those gentlemen that I've met a lot of him over the years. I've got 2 books full of sketches over there, which Wes has seen.
Minus
those.
a George Perez.
And I got a Neil Adams, so they can't hear that, can they? Turn it up.
There are gestures of love between Mike and Wes right now. I wish you could see it.
Anyway, it's true, but it's the way. I mean, I've got some amazing sketches. But
He really does.
But Sam Keith is just one of those gentlemen. When you meet him, I got lucky enough to meet him the night before the 2-day show started in the bar at the motel. So I got to lay some inroads, and inroads with a beer or 2 is not a bad thing. And then, hey, how you doing? You make sure they know your name. Maybe buy them a beer, talk with them a little bit, show you're a fan, and then, you know what, get out of their face. There's somebody else is going to come over and do the same thing in a minute. Go away from them. But and then Joe Linsner, I'm a huge fan of Joe Linsner's artwork. But it's another one of those. He's about my age, and I met him years ago in Nashville, and we made him draw something really, really odd for the shop that I was. Nobody get offended by this. I refer to it as slave labor because I worked for free. And that was that. I did it because I liked it. I made out her comic book order for this particular shop. And that is that. But either way, it was called PH Ducks. And so she had this little mascot that was like a duck, but it had like a little mortar board and the gown and everything. Cute. And every time we'd meet an artist, we'd make them do something like that. And so Joe Linsner was, back then, Cry for Dawn was actually coming still on the newsstand because it was only 9 issues. So, he was more or less known for horror comics, and the cover of the book was this big buxom red-headed woman and dressed in whatever he put her in. She was never in the books, but she's what sold the books. Right. It was that right there. And that's what he's known for, is just that particular style. And we made him draw, instead of a PH duck, we said, we want you to do a duck kind of like this in lingerie, like your Cry for Dawn. And he looked at us, he's like, really?
This is what you're coming at me with.
Exactly right there. This is what you want. And he's like, I like it. And dude, it's beautiful. I assume she still has it, but he did, and he put on instead of Cry for Dawn, he put Cry for Duck. But it had they had a female duck. So just picture Daisy with a mortarboard, probably some black lingerie, and a somewhat less than a gown you would have worn at graduation.
On a duck.
On a duck.
Well, it's always fun when they find something humorous in it, and
they love that.
They love it.
You make that imagination pop with them, and it's one of those. We're still acquaintances, and I mean, he recognized me by face, and our name's the same, so he's like me. He can get it right, man.
Right.
We talked about that earlier.
Yes.
I just walk in the room, scream, Mike. Somebody's going to turn around and look. You've got
We'll
a
know
friend.
somebody.
You've got a friend already. At least you know somebody. But I completely derailed myself right there.
Said you and him were still friends.
Right. So, but he'll put things up on on his little Facebook page or whatever from time to time, and it will be on some comic. He'll pick something up or something that and he'll just start waxing poetic about the books that he liked from the 70s and the characters and this, that, and the other. Or if he gets to draw something new, he'll have it put up there. He's like, man, I read this book when I was a young man. I loved it, and this is kind of a dream job, that type of thing right there. But once again, he's another one of the great ones. There's a lot of them that are great. There's some of them that have hard days. And,
like everybody else. But it seems like people, artists, actors, writers, everything else, because we've gone to cons and stuff and meeting these people, everybody from this type of genre, and the geek nerd, pop culture genre, the majority of them seem really nice. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because they really, truly know who their fans are and where they're coming from.
Well, they can tell when you start talking to them.
Yeah, they're like, we're on the same kind of page. And working some events back when I was a policeman many years ago, working, concerts and things like that, those folks are not nearly as nice. They're not the same type of people. These type of people, like you said, the guy sitting at the bar is like, really, you want me to draw a duck? Okay, why the hell not? Let's go with it. And that's the kind of people they are, because they got passion for that type of thing.
When you can talk about the subject, and you're not having to Google search it, you actually know it. They can tell. They can tell whether you look something up to do okay, I'm going to talk to you on the podcast, and I'm just asking stuff that I've gleaned from the internet, or I can actually talk about.
Right.
Why did you do this, or why did And it's like, they really know their stuff. And they can pick out true fans.
And we can tell right now that Mike here knows a whole lot of stuff about comics. He really, really does.
A little bit.
But, is he ready for the nerdy old men?
All the above.
Is he ready for the nerdy old men rapid fire question session? We'll go back and forth. Just one answer the question.
Okay, so we're both answering?
No, you are.
Oh, just me.
We're putting you on the hot seat.
What?
Yeah.
You are, in fact, on the hot seat, Mike.
Right.
You are today's victim for the Nerdy Old Men rapid fire question session. All right. I'll go first and then you.
All right.
Here we go. Picard or Kirk?
Kirk.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. It is.
The greatest superhero ever. That one got him. You see the sweat.
Personally, I love Spider-Man.
Yes, sir. Good stuff.
I mean, that's just it. It's what I grew up with. I think Peter Parker was thrown into it headlong, and
It's a great character.
with great power.
Comes great responsibility.
And he learned that lesson when? The first damn issue.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I got to ask you, comic books or action figures?
Duh, books.
All right, here you go, Mike. You have to go on a 4-hour road trip. No radio in the car. One superhero or supervillain rides with you. Who is it?
Dr. Doom.
That is the correct answer.
Ding, ding. We have a winner. Yes, sir.
Okay, last one, Mike. Does pineapple go on a pizza?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And as I've
But
said
it has to
before,
have ham.
but it has to have ham. That's exactly what I
That's
said.
exactly the correct answer,
Yes. Mike is officially
Mike
a
wins the
genius.
internet.
Hey, man. No, thank you so much for letting us come in and visit with you today. I'm telling you, this place is wicked cool. I've been in here before prior to starting this podcast with Wes.
Well, this is my regular shop. This is my regular comic shop.
It's going to be mine, and I like it a lot. I drive past here on the way to and from work. I think it's great. You got to check this out, and Mike, give us the ways to give us the ways to get. Absolutely, this is like the old school comic.
This is how comic shops are supposed to be.
That's
folks.
correct. Yes, sir. Mike, tell us how to get in touch with you and location and all that. Good
All
stuff.
right, let's go with phone number would be 865-945-1655. But once again, all the information is available on Google, Mike's House of Comics and Collectibles. I've got a page on Facebook, same thing, Mike's House of Comics and Collectibles. I tend not to be here on Tuesday and Wednesday. Weekends are the time to catch me. If you're coming from Maryville, let's just say that right there, that direction there, right at Pellissippi, hang right on Edgemore Road into beautiful downtown Claxton. If you're coming from West Knoxville, same thing, just don't start in Maryville, start in West Knoxville. If you're in Loudon or Lenoir City, come up 75, turn on Pellissippi, come right here. You can get here from Maryville, and once you get on the interstate, there's only one red light. Let's just say if you're coming from Powell, Clinton Highway, hang right on Edgemore. If you're in Clinton, can't find Claxton, you're new. Okay, that's it.
You need a GPS.
Yeah,
And we'll get Mike to
exactly.
record the voice for you.
That's it. Yeah. If you're in Oak Ridge, just basically straight out Edgemore Road, past Centennial Golf Course, or up Melton Drive, whatever. It's in Claxton. It's not that hard to find, easy to get to.
And he's got a Facebook page.
Yep.
You can just look up Mike's House of Comics and Collectibles, because we have some listeners in Oregon, because I see that pop up. We actually have a couple in the Russian Federation and a few other states around here. So they can find you there. They can also watch the live stream on Thursday nights.
Absolutely.
8 o'clock on
So
Thursday nights.
like his Facebook page, so that you make sure if there's any kind of schedule changes or cancellations for that show, because it is really fun and awesome.
And don't forget to like and share so that you can get in for the door prize.
That is correct.
And it's
Absolutely.
always something different.
Mike, anything else you got for us, buddy?
Nope, I'm just trying to keep my arms off the table.
So it's like we always say, man, we're always looking for new ideas and new places. Like today, coming up here to see this shop with Mike was great. So please reach out to us. nerdyoldmen@gmail.com is our email address.
Nerdy Old Men Podcast on Instagram.
That's correct. We're also on Facebook. You can look us up, Nerdy Old Men Podcast. You can reach us at any of those kind of things. Please, if you like this, share it, retweet it, all that good kind of stuff. like I heard at a playhouse in Abingdon, Virginia. If you like it, spread the word about it. If you don't, keep your mouth shut. So until next time, I still am Batman, even though you've never seen me and Batman together.
I will be leading the Avengers sometimes, unless I'm running with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not sure. I'll have to check my schedule.
Well, and I'm just going to be me.
And it's Mike from Mike's House of Comics and Collectibles.
Come by and see him, folks. Yeehaw.
This week's podcast was edited by OG_CatCat on YouTube.